This week's episodes are brought to you by these fine sponsors: Katmandu Campground in Sturgis, South Dakota, What's Going On Sioux Falls, Monk's Ale House, Club David on 10th Street in downtown Sioux Falls, the Icon Event Hall, home of the Solstice Shakedown, happening June 22nd. Tickets are on sale now. Featuring the Midwest Dead Coalition, Starts and Ends, Alyssa Kaiser, and Bobby Joe Cool, plus vendors and the Team Pluto Fashion Show featuring Danica Miller, the current Miss Mount Rushmore. Well, welcome into a very special episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and today I'm joined by Lynette and Larson from Katmandu Campground. How are you, Lynette?
I am so good, and I'm so happy to have you here, Bubba.
Oh, this is great. My favorite part about the job is getting to do stuff on location, and I have not visited a location this beautiful. I don't know if I will the rest of this year, so thank you so much for having us.
Well, and the fact that you came out on such a quick notice, I'm just so happy to have you here and to see our beautiful place. Yeah,
it's really great. And before we get into all the stuff that you've done, let's kind of go back a little bit. We don't have to go all the way back to the start, but until recently you were retired. So what did you do before? And then we'll kind of come into how you fell into Katmandu Campground.
Right before I retired, I was helping out on a farm, which my husband is trying to retire from, but will never retire from. And before that, I was dealing cards at Saloon Number 10 for 21 years. And so and raised 4 beautiful children. That is the biggest accomplishment of my life.
Yeah. Well, and I know your kids, and I know how much they mean to you, and how they are the light of your life. And I know you have one of them that's here helping you out on scene here at the campground. And so how did a retiree from the card dealing industry and farming end up with the campground?
It was my husband's idea. He heard that it was for sale and pretty much talked me into it. And here we are, and campground is our life.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's not a job. It's a lifestyle now. And obviously Brent grew up farming and has been a farmer his entire life. Is that kind of the story there?
That is the story.
Right. Guys like that don't ever stop working. They're retired. That's not in the vocabulary, right?
Right.
Katmandu is geographically placed not too far from your home site, though. Can we talk about that a little bit, and how maybe the looking down on the campground every day maybe spurned the ideas in Brent's head?
Very likely. Yes.
Yeah.
We can look over the entire campground from our home. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And I'm sure to watch it kind of sit empty most of the time. So this, I think, traditionally has just been a rally campground for our listeners that aren't familiar with the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. The first 10 days essentially of August now, it seems like, and some would argue the last week of July as well, and spilling over. But the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally kind of takes over, especially the northern Black Hills, and you have hundreds of thousands of Harley Davidson and other motorcycle enthusiasts land on the Black Hills here, and all of these campgrounds kind of fill up for a week, but then they're pretty much empty the rest of the time. And you guys living above the, on top of the hill from this one, watching it kind of just sit empty, and to see such a beautiful space not being utilized, I'm sure, is kind of what spurns the eventual sale and the eventual, wanting to purchase it on, right?
It definitely helped, because we watched this beautiful home here sit empty for at least 11 months out of the year, and this great campground just empty. So yes, that definitely, we wanted to see something happen here, and here we are trying to make it work. And I think we've definitely putting our all into it. So
yeah, well, and it shows in every piece, as just someone who I mean, all of us, if you're from, the western side of South Dakota, or even if you just travel this way, you've driven by Katmandu Campground. You might have seen the signs or the water towers, and, you've seen some of these things, but you've probably never visited. And, I've watched it over the years kind of just slowly deteriorate and atrophy because there's only people here, one out of every 12 months, right? And there's no one here constantly loving on these things. And I'm so happy that you guys really took it on yourselves to make it something. I mean, where we're sitting was a dirt floor just a few short months ago, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And now it's this beautiful bar space, and Ben and Brent have done an amazing job bringing some personality to this place, and it's just amazing, Lynette. You guys are doing an awesome thing.
Yes, and it is not only a rally campground, it is a seasonal campground, and that is exactly just a place for people to make memories and bring their families and exactly hoping to take those memories home.
Right. And Lynette, we can kind of talk about that because when my family moved here in the late 90s, we're transplant from the Chicago area. That's what it was. I mean, we lived at Wild Bill's Campground for that first year. I mean, we stayed on our home site, but we showered there. We ate there. All of our friends, were living close to there. And it was exactly that. It was a seasonal campground. It was open all summer for families to come and make memories. And I think in the last 25 years, as the rally has continued to grow and just be this huge commercialized money grab, essentially, for much larger corporations that are coming from outside of the state. They come in, they make all the money, and then they leave, and they take all their money with them. And it's kind of sad that a lot of these places have not been saved, right, and have just fallen into such disarray. And we thank you very much for saving this one.
Ah, thanks.
Yeah. You're doing a service. It's a community service, really, to save these places and to provide a space for people to make memories. I think people have kind of forgotten that somebody needs to do that, right? Like, and Lynette, I'm so happy that you guys have decided that that's you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm done, but it will be worth it when we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me and Ben talked about it where, this is a thing where it's never really there,
No.
right? You'll spend the rest of your life, and these kids will spend their lifetimes, and their kids may spend their lifetimes continuing to improve upon this piece of property that's nestled right here against I-90. But you wouldn't notice. It's still just as beautiful as the rest of the Black Hills are. It's easily accessible. There's ATV trails, correct, close by, walking, hiking, biking trails, everything. You're still in the heart of it. You're right off I-90, small family campground. It's so quiet here, so peaceful. I saw the most amazing moonrise and the most amazing sunrise within 8 hours of each other in the last day. Yeah, and thank you for making that possible.
And the location is great. I mean, you're close to Rapid City. You're really close to Sturgis and Deadwood and Spearfish.
And you're outside of it. You're away from all of those things, and you're 10 minutes away. And I'd say you're 15, maybe 20 minutes from Rapid City.
Yes.
Maybe not, barely that. 10 minutes outside of Sturgis. You can take the back way into the Buffalo Chip. So as far as a rally campground, if you're listeners and you guys are planning on coming out, definitely make sure that you're checking out our partners here at Katmandu Campground. Give Lynette a call, and get your space reserved. There's plenty of RV sites out here. How many sites you guys got?
255 sites total, and 20 cabins, one rental house, and I'm not sure, but the majority of our sites are pull through.
Yep.
And yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's over 46 acres.
Yeah, I walked it today, and by the time I got back to the cabin, I had done 3,700 steps.
Nice.
I was like, oh boy, yeah, this place is just huge, and so many great sites, electric, water. It's got the no sewer in most of these, but for most people, you're not staying for a time that you need to dump the sewer while you're sitting there anyway. So
we have sewer in,
and you
in
do
a
have,
lot of
yeah,
in a lot of our sites.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just full sites right here, and let's get it filled up, not just for rally, but all the time, and get people out here making memories. And we're gonna do our part in telling everybody about it, Lynette, and you guys just keep working hard here, and we'll let them all know to come and see you.
Thank you, Bob. I'm really excited to hear you and really excited to work with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the scene. Katmandu Campground in Sturgis, South Dakota, featuring the finest accommodations for family fun. Dry cabin and tent camping, or bring the RV to one of their over 150 pull-through RV sites. Go to KatmanduCampground.com to book your trip today. And be sure to book early for the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally the first weekend in August. That's Katmandu Campground in Sturgis, South Dakota, off exit 34, I-90. Go to KatmanduCampground.com to book your trip today. Well, welcome into a special edition of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me is Brent Larson.
Thank you very much.
Katmandu Campground.
Oh, man.
We just had Lynette on.
Yep. Well,
she told me it's all your fault that we're all here together now.
it 100% is.
Well, let's before we get into that, why don't we go into a little bit about who is Brent Larson? And
Well, I'm a farmer from Katmandu, South Dakota. And I started running out in the hills in the, late 80s, early 90s. Had a ranch south of Rapid for a while, raised cattle. I'm a cattle guy, farmer. And we farmed by Katmandu. And in the early 90s, we bought Aberdeen Livestock, my brother and I. And so we do livestock and farming. And for some reason, I thought I needed a campground.
yeah. Well, and we spoke about it. Your guys' home is precariously placed on top of the hill right above the campground. Did that have something to do with the inspiration for buying it?
It kind of did. I mean, we'd sit up there and watch this place, and they had it, and maybe Lynette told the story, 12 days a year they run it, and come here and blow the dust off, and, they never, I don't know. When you're not here, you don't take care of stuff.
Right.
And so we're taking care of stuff, and as long as we're here, we're going to run it. We built the bar and fixing stuff up, and we're painting. It's a constant job this year. Next year's going to be a lot easier. I keep telling her that. And
I don't think she believes you.
I think you might be right there. Yeah.
No, and I don't think it's much different than farming, really. Running a campground like this, the jobs never end. It might slow down at times, but the job is never done,
No. I mean, you get one job done, you go on to the next, and you make it so everything works, So when I want it to look pretty today, we've been mowing since 7 o'clock this morning.
Yes, you have.
Did we wake you up?
No, I was up at 5 a.m. and caught the sunrise this morning, and what a sunrise it was, Brent.
It was absolutely beautiful. I mean, you can't beat the beautiful Black Hills.
Nope.
You absolutely can't.
Nope. I love it out here, and as someone who was raised outside of Chicago for 10 years, right, that's where my family's generationally from, and it happened to my dad. We stayed in Spearfish on our way through to go to Yellowstone, and my dad's dream was to live in Jackson Hole, right? And hell, even in the late 90s, the billionaires were pushing the millionaires out, right? And we just stayed in Spearfish. Dad woke up and was like, we're going to take a drive. And we drove up Maitland, and that was it. Dad was sold. He grabbed a real estate center, little brochure magazine, right? And found an acre he liked, bought it for $8,000. The next summer, we moved out here, dug a hole, and lived in the basement. Yeah.
Perfect.
And here he's been ever since, and he's since sold that house and bought 10 acres kind of catty corner. Same hill, just a different address now.
Yeah.
A beautiful place that will always be home to me. We live out on the east side of the state now. My wife comes from a farm family. They're grain farmers.
Absolutely.
Corn and soybeans down in Tyndall there. I'm sure you're familiar.
South Dakota. I've been through there many times.
There you go. Yep. Well, that's our town, and we're very proud of our way of life, and we're so proud to know you and Lynette and Kirsten and Ben, and you guys putting the energy into this is a beautiful thing, Brent.
Oh, it's been fun, and that's like you said, when you see something, you say I live across the interstate, I do. I mean, when I seen that log cabin up on the hill, when we found that, well, it was going to be mine.
Brent, I admire that about you. I admire when you see something and you want it, then it's going to make it yours. And maybe you don't have the means when you say you're going to get it, but you're going to go and do what you got to do to get there. And
absolutely. I grew up in the good old days. You just go to work.
Yep.
It's a little different nowadays for some people, but it's not for me because, when just like this place, we got to go to work.
Yeah, nobody's going to come and do it for you.
No, exactly.
And the way to get there isn't to just keep pouring money into somebody else that's not going to put their heart and soul into it, right? Yeah. And that's the shame of where it is now, because craftsmanship and really having that personal touch to things and a personal pride in your work, most of the country, and I'd say the world, don't really have that. So to see when people go all in like yourself, Brent, it really inspires me to do more for myself and, when I go home and projects I'm working on, to give a little bit extra.
Yeah.
And
well, just like this bar we're sitting in tonight, it was a dirt floor, empty building, and I decided I wanted this thing like this. And I don't know how many people told me, you can't do it that way, Brent. But I run into a couple of old boys up in Deadwood, and they said, yes, you can. And they give me a little advice, and here we sit today.
Yep, sipping margaritas.
Absolutely.
What a beautiful space it is, and listeners of the show, you guys will be able to see it on all of our social media channels, and you'll also be able to see all the progress on Brent's TikTok. What's the TikTok, Brent?
I don't know. They got me into that. Lynette and the kids got me into, and I didn't even know how to turn a phone on, and my God, now they got me doing that stuff, and because whatever, from farming to sale barns. And the biggest one I had, we sold a baby calf, and here's kind of a funky story. So I was out here, we were selling a load of cows every week, and my son Casey was gone. He runs the farm now, and I was out here, so we're going to skip a week selling cows. Well, my hired man Joe, he decided, well, I can load cows, so he took a load of cows in, and I didn't even know it, but we'd had a couple calves, so he took them along, and I was out. I'm back behind the gate, penning cattle, running the gate, and they come in, and I hear Dwayne Smith, the auctioneer, say, "Well, these are Brent and Casey's cows." I'm going, "Shit, I didn't even know I had any here," because I got stuck on the wrong side. Sale barn's cut in half, the side that comes in, and then the sold side, and I was on the sold side, penning cattle. And so I jumped up to the block and watched me and Casey own the cattle together and watched them sell, and they did very good. And so then a little later, once we get the cows done, I go up on the block and I'm the penner, and start selling baby calves. So we get a baby calf comes in, and that little black beauty brings $925 a head.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's the highest baby calf we sold all year. So fun, So I put my TikTok deal on like I do, and I didn't, not a picture of the calf, just a picture of the screen. Weighed 110 pounds. I can't remember exactly. It's on my phone a zillion times for that amount. And that went out, and I think we had 300 and some thousand hits on that.
Holy buckets.
On TikTok. It's just crazy. Just on that screen, or that
you went viral.
I guess so.
Don't even know what the hell you're doing.
Bingo. Bingo.
How fun.
And then the funnest part about it was after the sale, my hired man takes care of the calves with this, that, and we split everything 3 ways, him, Casey, and I. And he comes up and hands me a check for $300. I go, what the hell's this? He goes, well, that calf that sold, that was yours. And I didn't even know it.
That's amazing.
Well, it's kind of dumb on my part, but I guess it is what it is.
Yeah, well, when you're a busy man, some stuff slides under your nose.
I mean, some of the details I don't need to know, I guess, till later.
As long as they keep cashing the checks, I guess it doesn't matter much.
Yeah.
Well, Brent, I hope this place starts cashing checks soon. I hope that you're filling it up year-round and letting people make memories. That's what me and Lynette talked about, is that the Black Hills, and because of the rally being what it is, that it just kind of you're losing these small campgrounds to people that are just hungry for that 12 days.
Exactly.
And we got families out here staying on the campground now. Myself and my wife are out here making our own memories, and that's what it's about, is sharing the Black Hills with every single person, and providing that family atmosphere to make your memories.
Exactly. We were just sitting out on the deck here, and I told Bob and Nancy, ain't that fun? There's 10, 12 kids out there playing on this playground and stuff. And I think we'll catch on. And I'm sure Lynette told story. It was never been open, year round, and we're here to serve. We're gonna make it fun.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
Yeah.
So how'd you find out about the bar even being for sale?
Well, I was sitting over in No Name City, which is the campground right next to us. Our friends own that, Dusty and Sherry Bumgardner, and very nice place. And some guy come in there, and I didn't know him, and he said, "Well, this Mike that owns this one, he wants to sell it." So I don't know. Then the brain went to working. That was June. Early part of June last year.
So not even a year ago.
Not even a year ago. Yep. Early part of June.
Amazing.
Sometimes. So we went to. I did a lot of research before I approached Lynette and said, "Well, I think we should do do this." But,
yeah. Well, and I mean, the fact that these people can come in and just make it work off of 12 days and just kind of dust it off and make their enough to hang on to it, right? Yeah. Obviously that the financials have to work out, right?
Yeah.
And I think it can do much better. Otherwise they wouldn't be willing to sell it, right?
Yeah.
They're obviously not maximizing it and don't want to do the upkeep, right? Most people are lazy, and especially people who have that kind of money that they can have something that sits empty for 350 days a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
And their favorite cleaning deal was the leaf blower. They'd blow in from Texas and blow the dust off and take the money and go home.
Yeah, and all that money leaves with them.
Absolutely.
And that's the shame
they don't
of it.
spend any money here.
Nope.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about me. I'm Mr. Local.
Yep.
I don't buy anything if it's not local, and that's no bullshit.
Yeah, right down to the screws and nails, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the gravel or anything. You talk to all the local guys around here, and they know me. I'm buying local.
Yep.
I mean, that's what
so
we do.
important. It's how we keep our small businesses, and it's the reason that when Lynette made the offer to come out here, I jumped.
I know you did. Thank you for that.
I just appreciate it. We love supporting those local businesses.
Yeah.
If what little we can do is provide some airtime and some pictures, and it doesn't really cost me much to sit out here and to just be myself and do what we're going to do anyway, right?
Yeah.
So all I need is the gas money really to get back and forth and keep this show on the road.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we keep filling up these businesses and we get to just keep spending the rest of our lives visiting all of our friends and all these beautiful places. And maybe we can throw a little music festival out here one year, Brent.
Absolutely. I hope we can.
I think we can get there.
I hope I know we can. I know we can. That's for sure. And I want to put a shout out to my neighbors. So Bob and Nancy are here. Now, the bar up here, that Bob did the top of the bar. He did all the sanding. He did everything. I didn't touch it. Ben and I built the bar with that walnut, or not walnut. What's the name of the wood again? Black walnut. Okay, yeah, black walnut. Yep. And but Bob did all the sanding, and he did it all. And I didn't try to screw him up too bad.
Yeah, well, it looks amazing. Great job, Bob. I love how this is a community effort here, and that's what it takes to keep up 47 acres out here. Yep. 47-acre property. I walked it today. Just kind of did the perimeter, and by the time I got back to the cabin, I'd done damn near 4,000 steps.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a big property. It's a lot to undertake. I know you got Vinny out here mowing the lawn, and I'm sure doing other stuff when he finds time. And and obviously Lynette and Vinny go way back, and it's just nice to see see the family coming back together. Ben and I grew up together. Ben and I were part of the Chicken Ranch gang back in the day.
There you go.
A little bit of a reunion here tonight. I hope our parents get to come down and see where it is. 25 years now that we've lived out in the hills and been around. So
absolutely, that's what makes it fun. That people, and they'll be here later. Friends from back home here this weekend, and I've had a lot of support from East River coming. So yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have us a good time, Brent.
Yes, we are.
Thanks
Thank
for joining the show, and thanks for everything you've done here. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we're going to have fun tonight.
Let's do it.
Come again.
All right.
Thank you, buddy.
Yep. Thank you for listening. Remember to go to patreon.com/thescenesd. Follow us on all your social media channels and make yourself part of The Scene.